You got any questions today?
No, nothing.
Always fun.
Nothing.
Nothing? Good.
He's running out the clock of the week.
That's right.
So 5 days after that fourth down call.
Yeah, about that field goal.
Craig, I see you guys had me asking that in the poll. It wasn't. So it's a good
No,
call.
no,
Right,
just-
we're just kidding.
So we had a great week of practice. Obviously we got a great football team coming in. It's going to tempo, averaging 90 plays a game. So I think we're about as prepared as you can get as far as the defense goes. I like the game plan offensively and defensively. We got to be prepared to stop a lot of quarterback runs. They like that against us with our coverage. Whether it's Wimbush coming in there and having his plays, because we know he can really run. We faced him at Notre Dame, I've seen plenty of tape on how fast he is, and Dylan's also fast and athletic. Those are always concerns that you have. That you stop the pass, you stop the deep ball. Here comes the draws, and they hurt us on it a year ago. So we've done a good job of preparing for that. Questions?
Brightwell said yesterday that in practice you stepped things up, the tempo up at ridiculous level, unrealistic levels. How fast were you going? Were you using 2 units, one after the other?
No, we weren't using 2 units. It wasn't ridiculous. I've seen more ridiculous. I think our guys did a good job because there's a fine line. Maybe in the past I've overdone it. We used to, make them do up downs. They'd run a play, do up downs just to get the scout team a chance, which is kind of like a play. And then they had to, they're exhausted. So it's really playing exhausted because that's what ends up happening. I don't know if it was ridiculous, but we got the tempo going. We got plays off between 10 and 12 seconds, consistently. So with one team, but we had a lot of our coaches are coaching up the offense to get them out. It's like I have a card for the right guard, right tackle, a card for the left guard and left tackle and center. Someone's got the quarterbacks. We got someone coaching receivers over here, someone coaching receivers out there just to get them out. So you don't have one guy showing a whole huddle of 11 guys. Hey guys, this is what's going on. Peyton Derry, who's kind of a medical right now. We had just a lot of good student managers helping us. It was good.
Who was the scout team quarterback this week, and how much of a onus or burden is it on him to be
It's funny you ask that question. It was Davis Bevel who does a great job. Obviously he's a little bit taller, but he's athletic and he throws a nice deep ball because the balls go like this. So Davis did a great job. Davis even threw a couple left-handed passes as well, which I didn't think he could throw left-handed. But he was throwing some left-handed passes, so pretty talented kid.
Is that something you guys saw on the recruiting trail? Something you saw on tape?
Left hand?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see the left hand throw. I was shocked when I saw it. What did he just do? He was trying to give us a look, and he threw it pretty decent.
Maybe that was the best way to keep a tempo offense off is in check is to keep them off the field. Do you have to adjust? You guys were good actually doing tempo a couple times you've gone to it, but do you have to sort of weigh, I want us to get in a rhythm, but it's okay if it takes 30 seconds to get off a play instead of 20?
Yeah, again, when you say, done it a couple times, we're tempo a lot of times. I mean, I would say a majority of the game, we're tempo, we're up tempo, we're not huddling a whole bunch. We were able to utilize the clock and win the time possession a week ago, really throwing the ball because we know we didn't run it very well. What I don't ever want to do is handcuff the offense and tell them, hey, slow down, because even our first touchdown, if you go back to our first touchdown when, Vince Davis scores a touchdown, that was Dontavius Butler catches it down the sideline, we tempoed the next play, ran it, and got in. And it wasn't even a 4th and 1, Craig. Then you go down to the, 1st and goal. Okay, what happens? We don't get the tempo because we had another tempo play ready to go catch them off guard. They were reeling after a big play, but what do? Go to the replay booth. Let's check it out. Slow it all down. Give them a chance to get a breath, and then the rest is history. But the tempo is good, and I don't want to slow that down. I want them scoring points. I think we've got to be able to score points tomorrow. It'll be a tough day if we don't.
When you're dealing with their tempo, how do you communicate defensively? How do you try to make sure everybody stays?
Well, let's get back to the stealing signals deal. I mean, they certainly are trying to get a peek at our sideline. I have no doubts about it. They got a good feel of what's going on. Especially on 3rd down, they'll look to the sideline. But we got to get it out there quickly. I mean, that's what it is. But we'll be able to still pressure. Some people eliminate all their pressures because they just are afraid that they can't operate and get them. So we'll still be able to have all our pressures and be able to bring that at them because we're used to doing that with one call.
Last year, when you brought in an extra defensive back, it was almost always a safety, except for in this game when you played 3-corner kind of nickel. This year, you've been playing 3 corners a lot already. Does that make it easier to make that kind of adjustment if that's what you decide you want to do this week?
Yeah, I mean, it does. The problem is you get that same personnel stuck out on the field, so that's what we got to be aware of. We go nickel, which we'll go nickel again like we did last year. You get that corner stuck out there, and then you can't get them out. Okay, and then they start running the ball, and you're like, let's get us out of nickel. I can't waste timeouts on that. So defense knows that we got to be selective when we do it. But you get stuck out there, and you don't necessarily want it done. So we got to be careful with it.
Mark said yesterday that he's never been involved in 2 straight games with no turnovers from either team. Can you talk about in your team on both sides of the ball in that regard?
Yeah. Obviously, I'm really happy with the offense. Not turning it over the last 2 games. If we don't turn it over in the opener, we probably win that game too because of the short fields, as we know. If you guys can remember back 3 weeks ago, it was a long time ago. But and then defensively, we got to get them. And I think sometimes turnovers come. We've worked the heck out of getting turnovers. And I know the Steelers haven't heard all their stuff during the preseason and have talked to Coach Tomlin. But sometimes they come in droves, and you just can't. You kind of push it. I mean, the one play with Paris Ford last week was too bad. I mean, we get a great hit and we've caused some turnovers. The ball just hasn't really bounced near us. Phil Campbell should have knocked that ball before he even hit the quarterback. The ball should have been knocked out of the hands. It would have took a different bounce, and we would have scooped and scored, and we wouldn't be having any conversation about the game. But you got to have a little luck to get turnovers. Sometimes it just bounces the wrong way, and last year we messed it up. DeMar Hamlin had a pick, almost down to the 4-yard line. We got a late hit on the quarterback, and we'll remind our guys of that. Dane Jackson has what looked to be great coverage and gets called back for a PI. Dane just ran by the guy, and we had another turnover on the sideline where Felipe's trying to pick it up, and instead of just getting on it, we don't get on it, but we still got a late hit on that thing. So we have to be disciplined, and we'll have our opportunities hopefully tomorrow, and we got to take advantage of them. But turnovers are important.
This series with UCF, Pat, was scheduled in January of 2017. I mean, how much, if at all, were you involved in wanting to play them or getting this whole thing together?
You know what? I have no idea, Craig. It's a great question, but I have no. 2017, man. I forget what I ate for dinner last night. I don't remember the whole conversation. I don't even know who the AD was at the time.
I can't remember who it was.
Might have been I don't remember ever getting across my desk, but I'm sure I signed off on it somewhere. But I don't know what everybody talks about what the record was, all that. We know they've been a talented, with George O'Leary there, they're a talented football team. So, I can't answer it. I don't know what other options there was, but it doesn't matter. We got a great football team. That's what you want, a great football team coming there, another top 25 team, and we get an opportunity to show what we have. And again, it's just preparing us for the future.
Whether it's from an on-field or a recruiting standpoint, what benefit do you feel like you guys get from playing them, even if it's just having one game down there in Florida?
I don't think that's overrated as far as the benefit of recruiting. I mean, we're going to have a relationship with our kids. I don't know if the kids know who we're playing. I mean, I could call recruit, which I called 3 of them last night, and none of them said, "Oh yeah, matter of fact, 2 of them were from the state of Florida." They don't even know who we're playing. They're in their game. I don't know who they're playing. They don't know who we're playing. They're focused on school and their players. So I don't think that really matters. And like I said, I think we talked about this on Monday press conference. They know. We have a lot of our players coming up for that Miami game. That are from that state. That's the one they know about. And it happens to be that it seems like a lot of them might be able to come to that game.
It's back-to-back top 15 opponents for you in the non-conference schedule. When you're making a non-conference schedule, now it's like 4 or 5 years out. Is that what you're looking
7.
for? Is that maybe more stronger than you would have liked, or how do you strike that balance?
Well, you don't know where they're going to be ranked when you play them. When but you obviously like to you'd like to not open up with an ACC opponent. I can tell you that. That's probably the biggest problem I think we have. I mean, I was just talking to an NFL scout the other day. He said, the NFL might cut it back to 2 preseason games, and he's like, it's tough. You guys don't get a preseason game. It's like no doubt about it. But who was it? He was from where the quarterback didn't play well. Where the heck was it? But he goes, he hadn't taken any reps. He's not playing. You don't want to get him hurt. It was Trubisky. He was for the Bears, and I said, Mitch, didn't have a great day, I guess, in the opener, and he's like, no, but he didn't, he didn't practice. He didn't play in the preseason. So it's kind of the same thing. You have all these preseason games, and then you don't get your guys out there to get practice. You don't find out till game 1. So I think that's a tough deal. You got to get a scrimmage going.
Ideally for you, then, what would be a good opening? game, like I mean, not even say a team, but like a Villanova or a Duquesne's, like a Youngstown State, like a
I mean,
rivalry.
that's what we've done in the few. That's what everybody else tries to get if they can. So, of course.
Do you remember at the time, whether it was here or as an assistant elsewhere, that you've had a tougher 4-game stretch to open a season? I mean, looking at the AP top 25 now, it's 25 teams in those first 4 games.
I know Michigan State we didn't have, and then you look at last year, I think it was just as rough. I don't think next year is as rough, but who knows? I mean, who thought Ohio U was going to be picked to win the MAC too? I mean, it's just those things happen, and you don't know. So again, we want to play the best, and I think that's the most important thing. So it doesn't matter. You guys all worry about records. We're worried about what we're going to do in the Coastal Division. We're going to keep playing week by week and try to get better. Most important thing is we get better every week, and we have from week 1 to week 2, week 2 to week 3. We've gotten better, and that's all I can be concerned about. The wins will come. We got to take care of the little things. We take care of the little things. The big things, which are wins and losses, take care of themselves.
Pat, I and some of in here right about
What'd you
right
say?
about the team next door too. I'm just curious. They got a guy starting a quarterback on Sunday that you faced a couple times. When you were scouting Oklahoma State and Mason, what do you remember that stood out about? I know he had success, but I mean, what stood out?
Mason Rudolph's not going to have any problems. I'm not going out saying and again, I love Ben Roethlisberger. He's a great one. I had the opportunity to play with him or coach with him in his last year at Miami. He's a legend quarterback. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and Mason Rudolph's got a chance to go in and take over. And everybody on that team is playing for him, and he'll have a lot of support behind him. I know James is going to play his tail off. Those receivers have got to go make plays. But Mason Rudolph's a great quarterback. There's a reason he's in the NFL. Okay, and I think a lot of people will be shocked. He's going to have a great day. He was spectacular at Oklahoma State. He knows how to throw the ball. He doesn't get take pressure or get flustered with pressure. So Mason will be fine.
Yeah,
Glad I don't have to play him tomorrow.
He's talked a lot about being a football nerd. I'm sure you're trying to game plan to disguise stuff. Was he pretty adept at sort of? Did you fool him much in those games? Or?
Again, another tempo team. Probably not. Not as not. I mean, obviously we didn't. He didn't get fooled. Probably fooled him a little bit better out there in his junior year, but his senior year he fooled us. He's good.
Where does he stack up among the quarterbacks you faced here at Pitt?
Mason.
Yeah.
Oh boy. He was on fire. And again, I always look at that. It's the quarterback, but it's also the style offense. Like Central Florida's offense is different. Okay, it's different. It's like the Georgia Tech offense. It's just a totally different, kind of like Syracuse a little bit. As far as the splits of the receivers, you guys will notice that on Saturday. But again, Oklahoma State was the same type of team. So he was special. I mean, he's a special. He can put the ball where he wants it. He can put it on a dime. As far as comparing them, I mean, we faced a lot of them, but Trubisky was, I won't forget that 2-minute drive, that 16-play 2-minute drive at the end there. And that, when you think of a quarterback, it's a 2-minute drive that wins the game. So I would say they'll be the top 2. I'm probably leaving somebody out.
I guess it depends on the players, but does different work better than sometimes your pro style typical offense? Is it harder to face when you get a team that's like that, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think every different styles. I mean, the thing about it, it's not like it used to be 20 years ago where everything was the same. But being different is important, and we're kind of different. What we've done in the past was different. With all the jet sweeps and all that. So I think it's good to be different, for sure.
Kenny did throw a lot of picks last year that I recall. And of course,
How do you say that word, Jerry?
picks. I didn't say injury. I said picks.
Picks and injuries. Don't say either one of those.
But he seems pretty careful with the ball. Is that something that you guys have emphasized all week? That how does you get a quarterback who's so good with the ball that doesn't make a lot of mistakes?
It's coaching. I give the credit to Coach Whipple. It's not. We can't say, hey, don't throw picks just because we say it. It doesn't really matter. It's him making good decisions with the ball, knowing where to go with it, knowing when to throw it away, knowing when to tuck it and go. And I think that comes with time. I mean, again, give credit to Coach Whipple and give credit to Kenny for working so hard. I mean, he's probably in there right now watching tape and doing more. So give credit to those two for because it's not easy sitting back there with people coming at you and you just want to get rid of the ball, and give credit to the offensive line.
He mentioned he comes back here at night a couple times after class. You have to kick him out after a while?
Hell no, I don't kick him out, Jerry. Keep him right here. He's a smart guy. He gets all his work done.
Pat, what's led to some of the numbers that Twyman's put up this year?
You know, Jeff, you know, his work ethic, I mean, it's the same thing. You know, he's a guy you might have to kick out. I mean, he might be worse than Kenny. He's in there at 6 o'clock in the morning and they're watching tape. I go in to see Coach Partridge, and I think it's him behind the computer. And it's, you know, I see this big guy look up at me, and it's Jalen sitting back there. The guy watches tape a ton. He knows what an offensive lineman's going to do. He's got a plan going into a game. And I'm sure, like Aaron Donald, I mean, you know, there's only a few of those guys out there. I mean, you know, he's better than a guy we had, Jarrell Worthy, who I thought did a great job at knowing what was going on up front. This guy's talented and works at it. He's not just a guy that likes to, you know, to go out and play the game. He studies the game. He kind of has a plan of what's going to happen with him protection-wise, so he gives himself a chance.
Anything final? Coach, thank you for your